Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Down with OTC. Are you down with OTC?
So who is down with OTC? Anybody out there down with OTC? I was still jamming in the background. Bam, 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 jamming. Who's down with OTC? Well, we got an exciting show for you tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about a Goldman Sachs Ripple XRP connection. Say that 3 times fast. We're also going to look at India. India. We're going to look at ODL into India as an on-demand liquidity, and it's getting ready to start right now.
The XRP Minute with Chip on the chain.
Chip here with the XRP Minute. If it's your first time here, well, just go down below, click that like, hit that subscribe button, click that little ding bell, click that little bell down there, and bing, hammer that little bell. And you'll get notified when new things come up. There's always fun new stuff coming up. There's always great people inside of the stream. And you know what? I'm a little rusty at this. I mean, Jeff's been doing his live streams pretty regularly. I got a little bit sloppy. I have to say that it's been a little bit of time before I've actually gone through and done a pretty a live stream. So here we are. We're sitting here and I'm working the controls. I'm looking at stuff, going through the comments here. I want to run through some people in here. You know, who was number 1 in here? Well, it was none other than my cohort, my partner, but Jeff from How to Review. He was in first. Then we had James, Rule XRP. What's up, James? We had James on the roundtable. If you guys missed that episode, you can also see that down below. You can always click on it and say, I will check this out later. We have Wen Mullet in here. We have Todd Kendall, if I said that right. What else do we have? Who else is in here? Gosh, I'm going through the comments. We have Wade Hutchins, Lady Enigma, big supporter of the channel. Ricky, Bobby, I love it. Let's do some racing. Fidlaf, BZ Comedy Channel, David Colston. Yeah, we got a lot of people in here. Everyone's in here. Guyerson, Satine is in here. Yeah, it's all going off tonight. So today we're going to, gosh, I'm going to have to rearrange some stuff because I just realized something here. Huh. What did I realize? So, you know, what's funny is that, so on this software we use, we have, the comments take a little bit of a delay. So you'll be saying something, you'll be like, Chip, why did you say that? Why did you mention that? And I'll be like, I didn't know. So I have to pull up the YouTube comments as well so I can see exactly what you're doing, what you're saying, and then we can go from there. So let's jump in. We got some cool things to talk about tonight. Cool things to talk about. Really cool. So let's go over, and I'm going to, you know what? This is also weird, man. It's all so weird. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So yeah, I have to go ahead and add my screen because I haven't done that. So I want to know how everybody's doing tonight. What are you feeling? How are you feeling about XRP? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling excited? I mean, we're not down on the 17, 18, 19, 20 cents anymore. I mean, you got to be feeling good about that, I would imagine, for the most part, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I wanted to take a look at this story here first. This is, so Ripple ranks 123rd among 5,000. Think about that. 5,000 of the US's fastest growing firms. This is a new article that just came out. Ripple, an American blockchain company, focus on payments technologies, obviously recognized as one of the fastest growing companies in the United States by Major Business Magazine, Inc. And if you guys don't know Inc always puts out the top 5,000 growing companies. And Ripple is 123rd on this list, which is phenomenal. So out of the 5,000 companies profiled, the company affiliated with the XRP token ranked 123rd, ahead of some other blockchain-based companies. The high position was earned based on the magazine's estimates that the company saw a 3,000% growth in the past 3 years. And we also know too that Ripple has a market cap. They're estimated to be worth, and I would imagine, this is some time ago, but I would imagine that they're probably going to be worth a lot more money, but they're estimated to be worth $10 billion. While the list was topped by privacy startup OneTrust, another notable blockchain company ranked by include BitPay. You guys know BitPay, cryptocurrency payment service. That was 1,519. Wah, wah. Sorry, man. It's okay, but it's just not as good as Ripple, okay? That's what I'll say right there. And let's see. That's pretty much all we have. So Garlinghouse noted back in March, the company's profitability was driven both by its software provisions. And as you know, if you don't know, Ripple has its proprietary software, which enables cross-border payments between financial institutions. They've got the RippleNet. They've got the ODL solution. And, they have different over 300 plus partners that not all of them have been announced yet, but there's probably 50 that we know about, maybe. We don't know 100%. So a few days ago, he stated the company has no plans to reset its strategy. Now, if you know, this was a FUD article that was put out by none other than, what's the name of that publication? Financial Times, I believe. Yeah, they put out an article completely with FUD. And, when Garlinghouse sees the FUD, he's got to slap it down. He'd be like, you know what? I don't like this FUD, man. I don't like the FUD. And he basically came out with a Twitter thread and basically knocked it back down. And also at the end of it, he also gave him a throat punch saying, hey, if you're gonna put my Twitter handle, maybe you should put my correct Twitter handle. So that was pretty cool that he popped that in there as well. So that was pretty fun. So let's go on. What else do we have here? Ripple price, blah, 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 and dropped. Yeah, okay, there we go. So let's pop into this next one here. So this is always cool to see too. Ripple XRP price won't go down quietly. Oh, hell to the no. Crucial uptrend support intact. So this is something that I talked about in the video that I dropped on the other channel earlier today. And, when you're starting to see this crucial support, I'm not a TA guy, I don't put a lot of stock in that, but you know what? History repeats. And we'll see that history repeats quite often, right? So if you see this, it says right here, after a strong rejection near the 0.32 resistance, Ripple started a fresh decline. Price broke at 31 cents. It gained past 30 cents and then another 30. I mean, basically what it's saying is, right, when you start seeing that it's either going to go back down or it's going to shoot back up. But what we're seeing, because of the downtrend and because of something we're looking at that really parallels what happened with the last bull run, you're starting to see a pretty good parallel. And okay, that one rose from 0.006 and it shot all the way up to past 350. At some exchange, I think it was as much as $3.84. But it's mirroring it in a sense that it's very similar. If you were to overlay them, you see a same kind of a breakout. And so that's what we know is the history always repeats, and we're probably going to see something very, very close to that happening. If Ripple stays above the 0.28 and 0.285 support levels, it could be a new base for a fresh increase. And that's what we see a lot of analysts are calling for, is a bunch of them that have come out recently and are calling for an increase. They're saying 90 cents. We have another one, the Joker, if you know him, is basically calling for $8 as high as maybe $14. So we all know that this is possible. We're also seeing a lot more people coming into the space. Since we've had a green market, we're seeing a little bit of pump. The way is being currently led by our bestest favorite pal, and that's BTC, leading the way. But we also saw a lot of the altcoins pumping like crazy, right? We saw a lot of stuff like Chainlink and other coins that I'm not going to mention them all, but we saw coins that we've heard of and coins that aren't so popular just pumping out of nowhere. So this is an article that was published in Cointelegraph. Basically, what role will crypto play during the Great Reset? The global economic transformation now faces the main question: what to choose, centralization or decentralization? So yeah, once we have this global event that we have going on, massive and worldwide protests, job automation. So, everything's being threatened and it's under the gun right now. We've got this Great Reset coming, plans as it's been called, and we've heard about everything from when we hear the reset. Well, what's resetting? We've heard financial reset, right? We've heard that there's countries that want to pull away from, they want to get away from this whole the world being the U.S. being the dominant currency with the U.S. dollar. We see China pulling away. We see Iran. We see a lot of people not wanting to be tied to that. And that's all tied to SWIFT anyway. And then with the control of SWIFT from the U.S. can basically shut down money and accounts and everything else. So we're starting to see a shift in that regard. That's moving away. The World Economic Forum, for instance, claims that there's an urgent need for global stakeholders to manage the direct consequences of what the IMF has called the Great Lockdown, referring to the quarantines, the social distancing practices. So I think a lot of what's happened, what we've seen here, is that this is really, in a sense, it's pretty much, it's kind of accelerated a lot of things. Now, we've heard about this global reset for a long time. People have been saying, oh, the global reset's coming. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, And, well, I mean, what does it look like? Nobody really knows. But we're starting to see inklings of the Fed talking about getting closer to the digital dollar, the CBDC coins. So we're hearing a lot of chatter. I think it's uniquely interesting, and I've ascertained that this is probably one of the greatest things that's happened this year in 2020, according to me, Chip, because that's what I'm saying. It's just my point of view, but. Banks having the ability to custody crypto is massive, right? It's almost laying a serious foundation. You got to lay the trust. If you're able to keep your coins, right? If your crypto, your digital assets in a bank, guess what? You're basically setting it up for the masses, because the masses already trust the bank. They already keep their money in the bank. We don't have to teach them something new. They're not going to go out and get a Trezor. They're going to go out and get a ledger and do all this stuff, and you got to click on this, and you got to write the seed words down, and you got to put it in a separate secret place, but don't put it on your computer, but do this, but do that. It's going to be way too complicated for most people, and what most people want to hear is easy. What do I do? Well, I buy it from my bank. I got that. How do you do it? You do it on your app. I like that. Then what do I do? Look, if there's some apps out there that have taught people and simplified things, yeah, you used to be able to get a brokerage account, you used to be able to trade on E-Trade or Fidelity. But what happened? Someone named Robinhood got into the game, right? And it really connected with millennials because it's an app. It's easy, right? It's got a phenomenal interface. It allows you to go in there, click on stuff, buy stocks left and right, and also it introduced a whole new, probably I wouldn't say a generation, but a whole new sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for the right word here. A new audience to crypto. Now it's a little bit different on Robinhood because they do not let you actually go in and select. You don't have your keys, right? So you're buying it, so it's almost like a tokenization. It's like, yeah, I bought 1 Bitcoin. Okay, so I want to move my Bitcoin out of Robinhood. It doesn't work that way. You can basically cash it out. It's there until it's not there anymore, but it's not as though you control the keys. So you're not truly having crypto if you can't control your keys. But regardless of that, some people are buying into the whole idea of being able to buy on Robinhood and getting into cryptocurrency. And the funny, weird thing that I see is like I can go onto my Robinhood app, I can look at the price of XRP, but to this day, I still cannot buy XRP on the Robinhood app. You can buy Ethereum, you can buy Bitcoin, you can buy a bunch of other coins on there, but for some reason, I can buy Dogecoin. Okay, you can buy Doge, weird, right? Doge, but not XRP. Yeah, that's kind of a weird sort of a deal there, but it is what it is. So I want to talk this next story we got up here is Ripple confirms ODL plans for India, demands regulatory clarity. So, we know how big India is. We know what an outstanding opportunity this is. Let me look at this comment right here. Yeah, here we go. Boom, let's put this up. So Fidlov says, hey, Ripple's secret weapon in one word, corridors. Few appreciate how difficult, time, and resource consuming it is to establish fiat-to-fiat corridors globally, which involves navigating geopolitics and regulations. And I have to say that's a very good, outstanding comment there. And all of a sudden, I'm like swimming behind the comment. Hello? Be like, trying to get up over there. So that's a really good one, Fidlov. I like that comment. That's absolutely true. So people don't understand the work that goes into creating the corridors. So when a lot of people think about competition, they're like, whoa, what about the competition? There's competition. Competition's good. I know Jeff brought this up when we talked on the roundtable with James Rule XRP, brought up the whole idea of competition. Competition's probably one of our best friends in some instances because it keeps you honest, right? Any of the big rivalries need somebody to keep them honest, to keep them thinking on their toes. They come up with something new. They got to one-up them. They got to do this quicker, faster, everything else. So there's going to be, but here's the deal. When Brad Garlinghouse is out there saying this is a $10 trillion problem, yeah, that's a $10 trillion problem, but it's actually a bigger space. There's a lot of other problems that have to be solved, right? Look at gaming, crypto for gaming. What's going to take off in there? You're going to want to have fast transaction speeds. You're going to want to be able to buy skins. Let's say for Fortnite. By the way, they came out with a new Batman skin that looks amazing. And so, this is one of the reasons they went ahead and invested, Spring invested in Forte, 100 million just to see what kind of development they could get around the blockchain, not necessarily around the XRP ecosystem, but just in general, which is a really good way to go. So look at this, digital asset conductor, level playing field, keeps the competition healthy and moving forward. Yeah, spot on, DAC there. It does, and it always keeps the competition healthy and moving forward. They have to have a degree of someone's breathing down your neck. You know what it's like. You're breathing down. If someone's had a boss out there that was always like micromanaging, breathing down their neck, pushing you. Well, this is the competition. You don't want to be one up, especially if you're senior management. You have a lot at stake there. You want to make sure that the people in the company are taken care of and everything's moving smoothly. So you want to make sure that that's certainly a good thing. So I want to talk a little bit about Ripple, talking about its plans for India, demanding regulatory clarity. This itself, let me see, where's my article here? Let me pull it up. Yeah, so BitMEX CEO, you know what happens when I turn this thing up? Hang on a second. Here we go. Let's go. What is this? Here we go. Holy cow. This happens. Nope. Okay, well there it goes. It is lost in the ether. I was going to talk about India and ODL, but man, yeah, here we go. So they're talking about plans in India, demands regulatory clarity. Ripple's Navin Gupta has confirmed that the company's plans to introduce on-demand liquidity payment corridor for India. It's proposed a public consultation to define its policy on cryptocurrency. So this the managing director revealed more details of the company's plans in an interview with the local media. He confirmed that Ripple plans to create a corridor. Now, who just mentioned corridor as being important to be setting up for fiat? Who just mentioned that? One of the smartest people in our chat, which is you guys. You guys always mention stuff like that. That's right. Let me go if I can go back up here and find it. Boom, there it was. Feedloff right there. Secret weapon in one word is corridors. And that is absolutely spot on. Look, setting up the corridor, getting everything in place. It's not like there's software that has to do it. You know, you have the XRPL. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But you've got to set it up, the infrastructure. If you don't have the infrastructure, nothing's going to move. Now, India is massive. 1.3 billion people. It's a growing powerhouse. It's probably going to start rivaling what we saw happen in China. A lot of stuff you're going to see move out of China. It's going to relocate to where? India. And with this new USMCA, this new that basically buried NAFTA, which is the North America Free Trade Agreement, which went by the wayside. This new USMCA, this one is going to turn North America into a powerhouse. So you're starting to see a lot of different economic areas to sort of stay well. Hey, Minus Wells, damn, look, Chip looks good today. Well, thank you, Minus Wells. Get it? Well, Minus Wells. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. So details about the corridor. Despite the growth in India, Ripple has not yet implemented its payment solution with the digital asset XRP. On-demand liquidity in this regard, Gupta described that the country is a fast-growing market, population of 35 million Indians living outside of the country. So what does that mean? That means they're going to be sending money where? Yeah, back home. They're 35 million. So they're living all over the world. And they're sending money back home to help their families or whatever, relatives, whatnot. Maybe they just want to keep their money in an Indian bank, whatever. The good news is there's going to be a lot of that inbound. You got probably a lot more going outside of there as well. Data from CoinGecko shows that the trading volume on the major crypto exchanges in India has been steadily increasing since 2020. The lifting of the ban on crypto trading by the Indian Supreme Court in early March has had a very visible impact. Yeah, and it probably would have grown regardless of what happened there. But look, I mean, a lot of times when you see like India's cracking down on crypto, they don't like it. Well, what they're trying to do is buy some time. They're trying to buy time, trying to figure out how do we tax it? How do we control it? You know, not necessarily, you can't stop it once it left the gate, right? When that train leaves the station, it's cruising at 100 miles an hour. You're not going to stand out there with your finger. You know, something my wife always says. I guess it's a saying from her country, but she's like, you can't cover the sun with your finger. And I always like that because you can try all you want, get it close to your face, but you can't. Once that's left, it's gone. It's gone forever. Let's see what this one is. I didn't hear about this. Bra. What's up, bra? Bra. XRP. Hey, did anyone see the BTC mining warehouse in China get flooded the other day? I bet Tonebase is pissed. Yeah, it could be. I know there was some flooding going on. I know they were trying to relieve some of that dam and all. They basically were, instead of flooding certain areas, they're flooding a lot of other areas. I did not see that happen, but that's interesting. Nonetheless, hey, what's up, Coining? Alex is here. Coining 203. What's going on, Alex? Digital AC says, I'm going to be riding with Biden. Hells to the yeah. Okay, where do you go? So this is where the cool kids hang out. Well, they sometimes do. They can on occasion. They will sometimes. That's for sure. All right, this next story I wanted to get to right here. Goldman Sachs FX executive director joins Ripple's global institution team. So there you go. We got a Goldman Sachs Ripple connection. That's what we have there. It's called a connection. Yeah, let me share my screen right over here. Let's look at this. There we go. Boom. Check that out. So Goldman Sachs FX Emerging Markets Franchise Management Executive Director, Aditya Turakia, has joined Ripple as a senior manager, Global Institution Markets team. Well, that's an interesting hire. According to the FNG article, Aditya Turakia spent the last 7 years at Goldman Sachs. 7 years, you don't say. Starting as an FX analyst in Bangalore, India. There's that word India again in 2013 before moving to London in 2015, where he rose through the ranks of the investment bank to become the executive director. global effects and emerging markets franchise management. Before joining Goldman in 2010, he had worked at Flow Traders at HSBC in Singapore. So there's another huge bank. So you got somebody coming from two of the biggest well-known banks in the world joining Ripple. And what is he really joining as? The Emerging Markets Franchise Management Executive Director. I almost wish they should have made it longer. That way they could have put on one side of his business card, they could have put his title that would have run the length of the card, and they would put his name on the other one. It just would have been like a flippy type of a deal there. And this is out of the FX News Group, exclusive, senior Goldman Sachs executive, joins Ripple, boomity boom booms. He'll be working with Brianne Madigan, and we know Brianne. We've heard lots about Brianne. She's the current VP head of global institutional markets at Ripple. Prior to joining Ripple, Brianne also worked for Goldman Sachs for 14 years. So you have two former Goldman Sachs employees. You know, Brianne worked there for 14 years, and you have this Mr. Turakia. He's been there for 7 years. So boom, look at that. Interesting. How does that work? I like the way that works. This comes only months after Miguel Villas, the former head of XRP Markets, left Ripple. So this is a really interesting hire. I think it's a very strategic hire. I think it's going to be a very positive hire for Ripple. And as you start seeing these connections with these large banks and big institutions, and these aren't people that were, you know, lowly people in that area. They basically, you know, rose through the ranks. So they were at larger levels in there. So if you guys don't know this, big shout out to XRP Arcade. This is Leonidas. He puts together, he always has some really good articles on here, especially catering to the XRP community. Thought that was very good. I wanted to talk about something else here. So something else upcoming here. We've got an inaugural crypto town hall that's going to be coming up. And this is no other than, this is going to be tomorrow. Is tomorrow the 20th? Yeah, tomorrow's the 20th. So August 20th. It's going to happen at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's New York time. So listen to this. Check out the participants who are going to be joining this inaugural crypto town hall. We have none other than you have Jeremy Allaire, CEO of Circle. We have Guy Hirsch. He's the managing director of eToro. You know eToro. eToro was probably one of the first, I would say, crypto exchanges to really hammer out. You know, it was that when you go onto YouTube, you'd see like an eToro ad. You know, this guy Steve is doing this with his portfolio, and this guy Bob does this with his portfolio. And then, you know, so you used to run those a lot. Matthew Rozak, chair and co-founder of Block, BLOQ. Then we have Stephen Pear, co-founder and CEO of BitPay. We have Chad Cazaria. He's the co-founder of and CEO of Paxos. And so they are joining, what did I see here? Holy cow, where is it? Emmer. Yeah, they're joining Emmer, Congress Chamber for Digital Commerce, PAC, and leading industry pioneers in the inaugural Clown Hall as we celebrate American ingenuity across the blockchain ecosystem. Oh, wait a minute. Did I forget somebody? Oh, yeah. None other than Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, will be there. He's in really good company there, isn't he? So we saw Emmer's name come up recently on some other crypto legislation. His name's kind of been all over the place, but this is going to be an interesting, they should encourage the use. So basically, to continue their standing as a world leader, imperative for the U.S. to be at the forefront of developing the technology. We should encourage the use of cryptocurrencies in daily life to provide businesses the regulatory clarity they need to build and innovate with blockchain technology. So what are we looking at right there? That sounds to me like, I'm not an expert here, but I'm thinking that sounds to me like a precursor to some regs. Because I imagine that everybody who's been invited there is going to say, am I blurry? Someone said I was blurry. I could be blurry. You never know. Could be a little bit of a blur. Am I blurry? Hello? Is there any blur going on? Let me see. I might be a little, you're right. I might be a little blurry. But that's just, you know what I think it is? I think that's focusing on, I might be a little blurry. What are you going to do? It happens sometimes. Sometimes you're blurry. Also saw a really interesting article. This is a good comment right here. I don't know what it means. Wait a minute, not that one. Wait a minute. Water. Water. I need water. Thank you for that. I guess I had some water. There we go. Alex Yeet is in here. Good to see you, Yeet. Good to see you, Yeet. Not blurry. Okay, good. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe I was blurry. Someone said somebody is blurry. So I saw really good, a really fascinating. I don't know if I should share this or not. I don't know if it comes to it, but I want to talk a little bit about this. This was, if you guys ever take a look at Reddit. If you're ever on Reddit, there's actually a whole thread there for Ripple and XRP, and this was a really interesting one. This guy says, I present to you guys NovaCoin. Look at the chart, see what it was like in 2013 when NovaCoin was mooning and XRP was relatively stagnant. Does that sound familiar? I remember kicking myself for not buying a few Nova. Fast forward to today, and XRP is still in the top 10, and Nova is dead. There's a long list of dead coins that have outperformed XRP in the short term. The coins that survived were the coins with partnerships that were seen with safe bets, coins where the people park their money for the long term. All these coins you see mooning now could be dead in 7 years, and XRP could be much higher. Hey, what's up, Tony Fisk? How are you, man? WB, what's up? I'm transparent. Holy cow, that's not good. Yo, Chippy, yo. Look at this. So XRP Holder for Life says, hey, in fairness, I said I could be a little tipsy, but it could be just me. You never know. Sometimes you got to get a, hey, what's up? Rob Liquor's here. Yeah, he says you got to get in on that Death Wish coffee. We good, because we'll have to throw some links down below there at some point. So it's good to see you, Rob. Good to see you in here. What else we have here? Yeah, so this is what Chip thoughts on Flare Network. Seems like a play to collateralize XRP and steal it from under us. Yeah, I'll get into that. That's a good one. Let's save that for a little bit. I do want to get into Flare. I don't see that at all. I actually see Flare as another, probably one of the bigger developments that's happened this year. Now, I know there's been a lot that's been said and mentioned about Flare because people are like, hey, give us your, prove how much XRP you have and we'll give you Spark tokens. They're going to do a 1-to-1. Now, I've heard all kinds of craziness out there. People going, hey, they're going to do airdrops. They're going to do this. It's not really an airdrop, but what they're doing is, it's a little bit complicated, the process, but to kind of like sum it up, it's smart contracts that are very, very powerful. And really, there hasn't really been anything associated with XRP. They're basically getting XRP into the whole DeFi space. And what's really exciting about it is it's interoperable. So if you think about XRP as being interoperable, as far as it can change to any fiat currency, right? So you can bring a USD, can buy XRP, and then you can go out the other end to whatever, the Chinese yuan, you can go to the British pound, whatever it may be. That's interoperable. Now, one of the things that XRP kind of works under its own sort of interoperability on the XRP side. On the smart contract side, really what's really put its mark in the world is Ethereum, right? The Ethereum blockchain was one of the first really to recognize that we need something on blockchain that can facilitate transactions, right? It went a little bit awry in a sense that depending on who's programming, right? Who's creating the smart contracts. So the things haven't always gone as planned. But if you look at the fact that these smart contracts that are going to run on Flare are going to be interoperable, they're going to be able to communicate. So you're going to be able to do some really interesting things and complicated things. I don't necessarily think the whole Spark token, you're in a way you're collateralizing not necessarily the XRP, but you're tying up. It's a 2.5 times ratio. It's a complicated formula. I think it will get easier. I know that Flare just put out an easier to understand model about a horse farm and growing oats and all this. I know it can seem a little bit complicated, but I think what's coming to our space and really what Flare is pioneering here is the opportunity to really grow the ecosystem. And I think a lot of DeFiers are probably going to come into the space once they see. So how do you get a Spark token? Now, part of it's going to be interesting because only 45 billion and that's the non Ripple owned, right? So when they go ahead and they do this 1-to-1 distribution on the ratio right there. Yeah, okay, so here's another one. Father for Life says the white paper seems to suggest you need to load your XRP onto the Flare network via the XRPL that wraps their term, your XRP, and allows it to be used in smart contracts. Yeah, and then that's really where the Spark token comes in. And I think the closer we get to this, I've read the white paper. I looked at it. I still think it's a very complicated. Even the examples that they use are not complicated in a sense that it couldn't be explained. But I think in the sense of like when we look at the consumer like us as XRP holders, it's a little bit complicated. But what's built into it, what you don't see is they've been developing this for a couple years. This isn't something where they just had an idea. If you look at the white paper, you look at the examples, you look at the team behind it, I think it's a phenomenal thing for XRP because it's a brand new use case. And the whole idea of having the Spark token, will allow you to earn XRP. So participating in a transaction, if you have 5,000 XRP and you use it in their FXRP, the way they're, taking it with the Spark token, I think what it generally means is that it's going to be a way for you to earn by basically loaning. You get it all back, doesn't go away, but you'll be able to earn XRP. So there'll be transaction fees involved with that. And I think right now, the examples we're using, they're not real world, but I think that business is going to probably want to jump on this and take really full hold of this because I think it's going to be something really good. Look at this. Tony Fish says, can we tokenize chip? I'd buy that for $1. Holla for $1. Holla. Yeah, I appreciate that, Tony. But man, $1, man. Can we do better than that? I hope so. What's up, Danny Torres? How are you, Danny? How are you doing? Danny Torres in the house. Jeff, I'll send you an Uber. Boom. Bro says he'll send an Uber. So anyway, I was going back to this article. Why he won't sell XRP for the newest coin? Because NovaCoin was up there, was killing it, and guess what? It's nowhere to be seen. So he's basically, in the article itself, he posts multiple coins in there, boom, 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 one after the other that he basically puts in there, and he's showing you how many of these have gone by the wayside or just didn't do much. So I think that, when you're sitting there struggling inside, you're going like, hey, man, I'm seeing everything else moon, and yeah, maybe I have positions and other things. Look, history repeats, and you go back to this 7 years later, here's all the coins that just aren't doing anything, didn't amount to much, and his assertion is in 7 years, when you move out, what's actually going to happen? Well, how many projects are going to be around? Brad Garlinghouse said it. He expects 99% of them to fail because right now it's the Wild West. If you guys are old enough to remember, but back in the 1990s in the dot-com boom, anything you could throw a dot-com behind was a company, and here's money. Well, guess what? They didn't all survive either, and we have the same type of thing. But when it was the Wild West and people were trying to figure it out, and what's this and what's that, and what's DeFi, and every time we start going through different sort of eras, right? Like there was an ICO era was a couple years ago. Then we've had Bitcoin being the, started out as a way to subvert banks and keep everything outside the realm. Then it became a store of value, and then it became a store of value, and then it became a store of value, and then it became, I was skipping there for a second, but it became a store of value, right? And we have XRP. The standard is a totally other thing. So, following the OCC letter, some U.S. banks appear to be providing crypto services. Is that interesting? How about that? So there are some out there. Major banks might be willing to look to support cryptocurrency services with a bit of additional guidance from the Office of the Comptroller. That's Brian Brooks, who really put out a landmark. It's good that he came from Coinbase and knows his crypto stuff, right? Although if you saw him on Julia Chatterley's on CNN interview, he's like, well, I just think that people should be able to do it. But, I'm not saying I'm not for or against cryptocurrencies. But, clearly he understands regardless if that statement is true or not, it's really interesting. So there were a response by a dozen banks, totaling 89 submissions altogether. Think tanks, policy advocates, crypto startups, and other entities represent one of the strongest signs that a traditional financial institution is the nascent crypto space as a legitimate asset class. And guess what? That's when it really grows up, and goes up and, starts from crawling to walking to start to run, because we've heard about it's the newest asset class in over 400 years. We've heard all that. But guess what? When you can get it at the bank and you can store it at the bank and you can buy it at the bank, I'll be honest with you, you know, there's always that little voice in the back of your head that says, "Oh, what if this happens and what if this happens?" You're like, "Yeah, but I have all my crypto on my little tiny thumb drive," and you call it whatever name it has. Look, I still think that if the FDIC stands in and they're willing to insure it, I think that's going to be another leg up. I think that might be coming next. I think we got to walk before we can run, but we'll get there. So the responses contrast sharply with the letter, open letter sent to acting controller Brian Brooks. Letter opposed a narrow payments charter for fintech companies, signed by many respondents. I actually thought about doing a video on this. It's interesting to kind of go through the letters, but then I slowly realized that it's probably just interesting to me. It's a lot of like boring, you know, and hey, we're super interested and blah blah, you know. And after you get through the fourth or fifth letter, it seems to be all the same. But the point is, you got almost 90 banks here that are willing to, you know, to throw down and say, hey, I want a piece of this action. And that's just the beginning, right? That's just the beginning. So you're going to start seeing stuff, other companies show up who are going to get into, who are already in the custody game. And they are going to probably help the banks out because I don't think the banks have any idea this was coming. And if they did, they probably don't have a solid strategy to warehouse your crypto. So that's why they're going to basically defer to other custody groups out there that are really kind of set up for this. Hey, what's up, Connie? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you in here. All right, banking activity. Okay, so let me jump into here. Man, we are running up on time here. Look at this, going smooth. What else did I have here? Did I have another one? I had something else I wanted to look at here. Yeah, I wanted to look at this. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go again. So, you know, we've heard a lot about what's happening in the, you know, worldwide with companies and what's happening. Well, today we heard from Target. Target's a store in the United States that, you know, it's kind of a department store. They sell a jack of all trades. You know, you can go in there and buy clothes. You can buy food now. It's kind of like a nicer Walmart, if you will. Much nicer, bigger brands, you know, known brands versus a lot of generic brands. And the best way to say that is less stuff from China. I would say that probably. But they came out, they had an 80% increase in profits. And if I could share my screen here, because this is always fun to look at. Boom, Apple, one of the first U.S. companies, reached a $2 trillion market cap. $2 trillion market cap. Phenomenal. So shares of Apple went up over 59% in 2020, and the most recent earnings report bearing news of a modest 11% year-over-year revenue gain. So I mean, look, even though stuff's hitting the fan and stuff is, you know, I'd say rough to a certain degree, there's still stuff that's happening here. I mean, we still have, you know, companies that got to go out there and make a living. They got to go out there and they got to make stuff happen, right? So also too, you know, we talk about when moon. You know, we always talk about fun things you could buy. I always see like interesting things like, hey, when it moons, what are you gonna do? Lady Enigma, thank you so much. Lady Enigma says, hey, let's all learn together, support each other, share, like, subscribe. Also choose all on the bell icons. You won't miss amazing contents. Yes. Hodl strong. Thank you, Lady Enigma. I appreciate that. Thank you for being a great supporter channel. Also Connie too. Really right there from the very beginning. I think Connie was like maybe probably one of the first 10 subs, I think. So I want to thank both of you for being just amazing supporters. Apple stock splits and the value will double again. That's right, Wen Mullet. It will split. That's right. Will double, double, double. And it's really great that they do that. I like to see that. Hey, virtual hug. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Okay, so check this out. So I like to look at really interesting things that are, you go like, when moon, like what would you buy? Well, I'd buy a Lambo, I'd buy this, I'd buy a beach house, and I'd buy a place for skiing, I'd buy a little chateau in Paris, and blah, blah, blah. And then I look at like crazy stuff. Like what kind of crazy, weird stuff can you buy? Well, let me show you this. Let me feast your eyes on this right here. Let me get this queued up here. Because look at this. This is a Volkswagen Beetle's beloved fender benders get repurposed for this cool car. Now, come on. Is this going to be fun zooming around in? I mean, for real? Look at this thing. So they took the fender right there. with the silly little light right there. Boom, they put it on a cart. Man, are you kidding me? Little bicycle seat. Look at those tires. You'd be jamming around, riding around in town on that. It'd be even more fun if you were riding behind, you know, an old Bug. But there you go. Get yourself a 67 Bug with red rims. Look at that. Boom. Put your name on the side of that. Is that badass? Look at that thing. That'd be fun to ride around town. I like stuff like that. When I see stuff like this, I'm like, you know what? I don't even know how much this sucker costs, but it's just something fun. Look at that. Look at that bad boy. Man, that is cool. That's ingenious, you know. I'm not very fond of the handlebars. Could have been a little more elaborate. That's like they took it off like some, you know, kids' bikes from the 80s or something. They just kind of like went out there and said, hey, this will work. I think it needs a little bit, you know, maybe something just a little more solid on the handlebars. But look, it's okay. It's not bad. Look at the thing on the side. Boom, there's the fender. It's a sweet looking ride, man. It's a sweet looking little ride. That'd be fun to just jam around town in. You know, how'd you like to go through your local grocery store on this? Move over as you like fly by. And then like, you know, there you go. Look at the back. Even the back looks really cool. Like those fat tires, probably real stable. It's a solid looking machine, man. And there it looks in the back right there. So you see it's got the light in the back. They really did a fun job on that. Bug and a Pug. I like that, Tony. A Bug and a Pug. That's sweet. A Bug and a Pug. That's almost like a no fun. Should have had a banana seat. Well, it's one giant banana seat there, Jeff. If you look at it, it kind of is a giant banana seat. Connie thinks it looks like a toad. It kind of does look like a toad. It kind of does look a little toad. Yeah, that's a fender bender waiting to happen, says Danny Torres. Yeah, that is a fender bender waiting to happen. There's no doubt about that. That was actually the name right there. The fender benders get repurposed to build this cool cart. Let me see what else. Was there any other images of this? They don't say how much it costs, though, do they? I don't think they do. Let me see if they actually have the cost here. I don't see it anywhere here. I think this is like one of those one-offs anyway. It's not like something they put into production. I think they just made it so they could get it featured in a magazine. And then they could have somebody on the XRP Minute like Chip talk about it. Yeah, Lady Nimbus says, that's a nice ride. Yeah, I like it. I hope you're talking about the fender. Well, I don't know which one you're talking about, the right one, but yeah, color's cool. But it's great the way they basically. Ferdinand Porsche Original says Morton Hey ya. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know how to pronounce this. One of those two. And then this one too. Let's look at another one. So the Lancia Stratos Zero makes a conceptual comeback with its iconic wedge-shaped design. Look at that bad boy. That is a sweet-looking vehicle. Looks like it has these little lights that kind of like go around there. It's nice. It looks like it might get caught underneath. If you like were behind a big truck and you couldn't stop in time, like you'd be buried underneath that vehicle. But look at this thing. It's pretty cool. In some ways, it kind of reminds me a little bit. Let me just make this puppy bigger. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a cross between a Batmobile and if you saw that new Elon Musk vehicle, it kind of looks like that. I love the way it just kind of like flares out like that. It's kind of cool looking. I don't actually know where the door is, but look at this thing. Can you imagine driving around town on this puppy? Oh yeah, that would be sweet. And then, you know, maybe somebody else is riding that little Pug, as it's been deemed in the chat, that little Pug over there, right? But it's a nice looking vehicle. It's cool. Kind of looks like a little bit like a Formula One racing car as well. So it's got a lot of cool elements built into it, but it is a really, really nice looking. Look at those headlights. That is very, very nice, man. I really love the look of this puppy. You can see right there, there's the inside. You got the chairs and everything. Very nice. Not so sure I like the Lancia in that color there, but there you go. Boom, that is something very, very interesting. Let me go ahead and remove that puppy. There we go. Boom, we're back. We're back. Has a speed tail. Yeah, it sure does, WB. Has a powerful speed tail. A very nice one, by the way. Very nice one, yeah. Jeff says it looks more like a movable ramp. Yeah, it could be, like I said, if you end up underneath a truck, it could be a ramp. Might not be a good experience in that sense. It might not turn out well, as we may all know. I mean, I can only think that. Did not know that. Porsche designed the original Beetle, was not aware of that. That's interesting. That's interesting. I also know that somebody else very famous who's not real liked also had a had a hand. If the story goes right, I'm not going to mention it here because all kinds of weird things can happen if you do that. But guys can mention in the chat if you know what I'm alluding to here. But yeah, so anyway, I wanted to conclude by saying, look, HODL's strong right now. Everything, not financial advice. I'm saying do what you want to do. You can easily FOMO, fear of missing out into another coin. Oh my God, I got to do this. I got to do this. You can do that. But look, you can't buy everything. You can't get it all. I mean, so you got to just follow your heart, follow your own intuition and your own set of sort of organizational investing procedures. Like, how do you do it? What rules do you have? If you don't have any rules, what guides you, and kind of go after that. You can take enough influence from people, but follow your heart. I mean, we all like XRP. I like a lot of other coins out there, but again, you can't get them all. There's a lot of stuff that's pumping. Yeah, this is it, WB, the people's car, right on. There you go. Picked up on that right away. Nice. Very good. Yep, that's exactly right. Connie says, I want to sell my XRP at 10. That's what I want to do this year. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, Connie, but I do know it will happen. I believe that will happen. Yeah, I believe it will happen. And you might not have to sell it all because 10 may only be a short layover, if you're heading over to Europe or you're flying and, cross countries to somewhere else, you have that layover, you stop there for a little bit, get out, have a drink, hit the restroom, and then what happens? You get back on and boom, you soar up again. So that's always a possibility. The Austrian painter, boom, right there, Morton. The Austrian painter, he's on. He gets it. That's a really clever way to put it, man. Very well done. Applause. So we got two. We got WB and Morton right there, man. Very good. Love that. You guys are clever. That's what I love about. One of the reasons I love doing these, that Jeff and I both love doing these live streams, is the people that come in here. You guys make it really worthwhile. You have intelligent comments. You're always thinking about stuff, suggesting stuff. Did you see this? You see that? It's your participation that makes what we do a lot of fun, because otherwise it'd be really embarrassing sitting there talking to your computer and nobody else paying attention and listening. So that would be possible. Jeff says follow the advice of BZ Comedy. What advice is that? Did I miss that? BZ Comedy. Oh, here we go. Boom, right there. He bought the dip today. Patting on the back. Yep. Patting it away, man. Good for you, BZ. Bought the dip. And people go, some people panic when that happens, but not BZ, man. Boom, he's all over that. He's all over that. So, yeah, so guys, if you're new here, please go down below, subscribe, and click that notification bell, that little bell, because even if you subscribe, you don't always necessarily get the videos. And we've been dropping videos on the other channel, which you guys can subscribe to also, which is also pretty cool. So I wanted to thank everybody for being here tonight. That's my take. What's yours? Let me know down below. This is Chip. This is the XRP Minute, and I'll see you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.
Oh, you stuck around, did you? Thought it was over. You thought it was over. I know what you were thinking. You're like, this is it? That's all? Oh, no, there's more. There's more. There's a lot more. There's a lot more. Yeah, we're going to go marathon. We're going to go another hour at least. Okay, we're not. We're not. That's it. Let's call it. Who's going to call it? Time. Anyway, I forgot to say one thing really important, and that was you can check out our website at onthechain.io. I wanted to feature, and I said, man, did I forget that or what? So let's put this up here. Let's stick it up there. There it is. So that's our website, onthechain.io, right there. And you can see we got 2 YouTube channels. There's a live channel. You can watch videos right from here. You can pop them up and start watching them. Of course, we're not out to watch them, but just saying you can watch the videos from here. So if you don't know where the channels are, go to onthechain.io. Here's our other channel. Here's some of the other videos that have dropped. There's your host, myself and Jeff right there. There's our live shows. Plus, we've got the How to Review live here. We've got On the Block interviews that we've done, the deep dive, all kinds of stuff here for your take in. If you come right down here and you sign up for the newsletter, We won't spam you. We'll send you cool stuff. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Throw that up. Boom. There we go. That's it. And now it's it. It's truly it. That's it. Go home. Go do something. Have a great day. Have a great life. And I'll see you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.